The rain poured hard on the sleepy little town of Ashwood that evening. Neon lights from the Maple Street diner flickered through the mist, casting a warm glow on the wet pavement. Inside, the diner was modest but cozy, filled with the comforting aroma of coffee and fresh-baked pie. A few regulars sat in their booths, chatting quietly as the jukebox hummed an old tune. At one corner table sat Lily, a 17-year-old girl with sparkling hazel eyes and chestnut hair tied in a neat braid. She was sweet-natured, always smiling, and a familiar face around town. But Lily had been born with cerebral palsy, and though she moved slowly and often struggled with coordination, she carried herself with quiet dignity. Her mother had passed away 2 years earlier, and her father worked long shifts at the steel plant, so the diner was her safe place, a second home where she felt comfort in the presence of kind waitresses and friendly regulars. That evening, Lily sat at her favorite booth by the window, sipping a strawberry milkshake, slowly sketching in her notebook. Drawing was her passion, her way of escaping a world that wasn't always kind. But not everyone in Ashwood was gentle. The door chimed open, and 3 high school boys swaggered in. Jason, the ringleader, tall and broad-shouldered, had a cruel grin permanently etched on his face. With him were Kyle and Brent, his loyal shadows. They were notorious in town for picking on anyone weaker than themselves, and Lily had been one of their favorite targets since grade school. "Look who it is," Jason smirked, pointing toward Lily. Little Miss Gripple with her baby drawings. The waitress, Maggie, a middle-aged woman with a no-nonsense attitude, shot them a warning glance. "Don't start, Jason. Leave her alone. Order something or get out." Jason just laughed, striding toward Lily's booth. "Relax, Maggie, we're just saying hi to our friend." He slid into the booth across from Lily without invitation. Kyle and Brent hovered nearby, snickering. Lily clutched her pencil tighter, keeping her gaze down, her hands trembling slightly. "Please, he broken bar, just leave me alone," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. But Jason thrived on fear. He snatched the notebook from her hands, flipping through the pages. Inside were detailed sketches of landscapes, portraits, and even a drawing of the diner itself. They were beautiful, the kind of art that spoke of patience and heart. "Oh, look at this," Jason mocked. "She thinks she's some kind of artist." "What's this supposed to be? A dog?" "Looks more like a blob." The other boys howled with laughter. Lily's cheeks burned red, her eyes welling with tears. She reached out for her book. "Give it back." Jason dangled it just out of reach. "What if I don't?" "What are you gonna do, huh?" Maggie stormed over. "Jason, hand it over right now or I'm calling your mother." Jason smirked but didn't hand it back immediately. Instead, as Lily made one last desperate attempt to grab it, he shoved her shoulder. She lost balance and fell against the table, the glass of milkshake tipping and spilling across her sketchbook. "Oops," Jason said with mock innocence. "Clumsy, clumsy." Something inside Lily broke at that moment. The notebook she poured her soul into, ruined. Tears slipped down her cheeks. She whispered, "Why are you so mean to me?" Jason leaned in close, his grin turning darker. "Because it's fun." Then, in a moment of cruelty that silenced the entire diner, he slapped her across the face. The sound echoed through the diner like a gunshot. Gasps filled the room. Lily froze, stunned, her hand trembling as it rose to her reddened cheek. "Enough," Maggie roared, shoving Jason back. "Get out, all of you, now." Jason laughed as if nothing had happened. "Fine, we were leaving anyway. Enjoy your date with your little cripple." He tossed her sketchbook on the table, soaked and smeared, then walked out with his friends, their laughter trailing behind them. The diner fell quiet, the only sound the patter of rain outside. Lily sat motionless, her shoulders shaking, tears falling onto the ruined pages. Maggie crouched beside her. "Oh, sweetheart, don't listen to them. You're stronger than they'll ever be." But Lily couldn't stop crying. "Why do they hate me? I never did anything to them." Maggie hugged her gently. "Some people are just cruel because they're empty inside. But trust me, kindness comes back around, always." An hour later, the diner door swung open again, and the atmosphere shifted instantly. The rain-soaked night air ushered in a group of bikers, 7 of them wearing leather jackets with a blazing emblem of a skull and wings stitched on the back. Their boots thudded heavily on the floor, their presence commanding, almost intimidating. Customers stiffened, unsure what to expect. At their head was a massive man with a thick beard and a scar across his cheek. His name was Bear, the president of the Iron Serpents, a motorcycle club known to ride through town occasionally. They had a reputation of rough around the edges, but fiercely loyal to those they cared about. Maggie approached cautiously. "Evening, fellas. What can I get you?" Bear looked around the diner, his eyes settling on Lily in the corner. She still sat quietly, dabbing her wet sketches with napkins, her milkshake glass shattered on the table. Her face still bore the faint mark of Jason's slap. Bear's expression hardened. He turned to Maggie, "Who did that to her?" Maggie hesitated, glancing at Lily, who shook her head quickly, not wanting trouble. But Bear's deep voice cut through. "I asked who did it." Finally, Maggie sighed. "Jason Miller. Him and his buddies. They were in here earlier. Caused trouble like they always do." The bikers exchanged dark glances. Bear's jaw tightened. "No one touches a kid like that. Not on my watch." He strode over to Lily's booth, his heavy boots echoing on the tiled floor. Gently, he crouched so he was eye level with her, despite his intimidating size. His voice softened. "Hey, sweetheart. I'm Bear. You okay?" Lily nodded quickly, trying to hide her tears. "I'm finding a broken bar." But Bear shook his head. "No, you're not. And that's okay. Nobody should ever treat you like that." He looked at her sketchbook, water-stained but still full of talent. He flipped a page carefully, his eyes widening. "You drew these?" She sniffled. "Why yeah, they're incredible," Bear said sincerely. "Don't let some punk kids tell you otherwise. You've got a gift." For the first time that evening, Lily's lips curved into the smallest smile. Bear stood and turned to his crew. "Boys, I think we've got a delivery to make." The bikers grinned knowingly. They ordered food, making sure Lily got a fresh milkshake and a slice of pie on the house. For the next 30 minutes, they chatted with her, making her laugh with their outrageous stories from the road. It was the first time Lily had felt truly protected in a long while. Then Bear's phone buzzed. He glanced at the message and smirked. Well, guess who's hanging out by the gas station right now? Jason and his boys." The diner grew still. Lily's eyes widened. "Noah, please, don't hurt them. I don't want anyone in trouble because of me." Bear crouched again, resting a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Sweetheart, we don't hurt kids, but we do teach lessons. Don't you worry." With that, the Iron Serpents stood and left. The rumble of their motorcycles thundered through the night as they roared toward the gas station. At the gas station, Jason and his crew were leaning against their car, laughing and smoking, when headlights blinded them. 7 motorcycles circled the lawn like predators, engines growling. Jason's smirk faltered. Bear and his bikers dismounted, towering over the boys. Jason tried to play it cool. "What do you want, old man?" Bear stepped forward until he was inches from Jason. "I heard you think it's funny to pick on girls, disabled girls, no less." Jason's bravado cracked. "Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about." Bear grabbed him by the collar, lifting him slightly off the ground. "Listen here, punk, you ever lay a hand on Hera or anyone like Hera again, and you won't be dealing with just me, you'll have the whole Serpents on your back, understand?" Jason's face paled. "Why yeah, I got it." Bear dropped him, and Jason stumbled back, shaking. The other bikers glared at Kyle and Brent, who nodded furiously, too terrified to speak. "Good," Bear said, his voice low and dangerous. "Now apologize. Tomorrow morning, first thing, you find that girl, and you apologize like a man. And if we hear you so much as look at her wrong again a broken bar." He cracked his knuckles. "We'll be back." The boys scrambled into their car and sped away, humiliated and shaken. Back at the diner, Lily sat nervously, sipping her fresh milkshake. When the door opened again, her eyes widened as the bikers returned, rain dripping from their jackets. Bear approached her booth, his grin reassuring. "All taken care of," he said simply. Lily looked at him anxiously. "You didn't hurt them, did you?" Bear chuckled. "No, sweetheart, just scared them a little." Sometimes fear is the best teacher. Relief washed over her, and she smiled a real smile this time. "Thank you." Bear nodded. "You don't thank us. You just remember these. There are bad people in the world, but there are good ones too, and you're never alone." The bikers stayed until closing, sharing stories, laughing, and making Lily feel like family. When they finally left, Bear promised, "We'll be riding through again soon, and when we do, we expect to see more of your drawings." That night, as Lily walked home with her father, who had come to pick her up, she held her ruined sketchbook close to her chest. For the first time in years, she didn't feel small or weak. She felt seen, protected, loved, and she knew no matter what Bullies did, kindness, courage, and unexpected allies would always rise stronger.